Hey you guys, what's poppin'? I missed you guys so much, and this week I got something brand spanking new for you guys. How to paint a realistic eye in oils. Yes, it's gonna be a crash course, you guys. If you guys are new around here, my name is Danielle. I'm the artist behind Galkd Color. If you love this sort of content, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell for all notifications. Your girl has been out for the last week for her birthday, enjoying and relaxing. I'm so happy to get back into it. Let's get started. Okay guys, so here's the materials you're gonna need. You want to get some oil paint. You can use any type of oil paint. You should be able to pick this up at your local store, craft store, art material store. I got this from my local Plaza Artist Materials, and I got these in the big tubes, but you can start off with your smaller student grade tubes in the beginning when you're first getting started. You want to get a some sort of canvas board, and here is my reference material. You also want to have some sort of medium to dry out your oil paint to speed up the drying time, but you don't necessarily have to use this, and they have so many different drying materials on the market, so I wouldn't really worry about it. You don't necessarily need this in the beginning. You can actually even utilize some like oil paint that you can dry, that would actually, you can utilize water, so you can use like an artisan oil paint, something like a, let me see, this is a nice brand right here by Windsor and Newton, and you can use like an artisan oil paint. It's a water mixable oil paint, so this is a great brand also that you guys can use, where you can just utilize water if you don't want to utilize turpentine or other materials, right? Like in the beginning, it's really like kind of scary in the beginning, because you don't really know like what materials you should be using and things like that. So you definitely can utilize these different things. Now you also are going to definitely need, if you're using regular oil paint, you're going to definitely need some turpentine or some odorless mineral spirits. I specifically like odorless mineral spirits because it is odorless, you guys. The smell is very low odor, but you do want to have enough ventilation in your area, like a window open, a fan on, so that you don't get any fumes whatsoever. And I would also utilize some gloves with this as well, because it can get really messy. Now this is a good jar to use also, the silicone jar. I really love this jar. It's good to keep my odorless mineral spirits contained, as well as the odor out of my area when I'm not in use, when I'm not using it. And here it is. This is what it looks like. It has a little coil where you can use it to utilize your brushes, clean your brushes off in your material, and you see the odorless spirits, like the liquid right there at the bottom. As you can see, it's a clear liquid, so you definitely want to have a container where you can label it and you know exactly what you're doing. You definitely don't want to have this like in some unmarked container where someone can actually get into it and drink it or get hurt from it, because it is a chemical at the end of the day, you guys. Yeah. Now, as far as the gels go, as you get more advanced, you can get into the gels, but this is the one, this is my go-to one, and it comes in liquid as well as a gel. Also, my brushes, you definitely want to have designated brushes, you guys, just for specifically for oil paints. They have brushes for different types of mediums, and oil paint brushes are a harder bristle. They have a very harder bristle on, so this is something that you can definitely utilize. And these specifically I love so much. These are by Princeton. Let me see if it's, the writing is still on it. Well, it's very faint. Yeah, maybe we can see it a little bit, right? So it's a Princeton brush, but it's real faint. Okay, so this one is a little better. a Princeton brush, and it is absolutely a beautiful line of brushes for oil paints, but these are a little more pricey. I would definitely recommend that you get any type of hard bristle brush recommended for oil painting when you're going to get into it. And of course, these are the basics, you guys. So let's get started. Okay guys, so let's get into the fun part. Let's talk about colors. So we have on our palette today, this is a glass palette. I would definitely recommend that you guys get that. We have burnt sienna, burnt umber, yellow ochre, zinc white, and a little bit of Payne's gray. And we have titanium white, magenta, as well as cadmium red hue. And don't forget your palette knife because it is good for mixing. You don't want to mess up your brushes. And don't forget your rag, you guys, because it gets really messy in between you mixing, so you want to be able to wipe off your brush. If you guys need help with color theory, if you're not familiar with color mixing, I will link that up in the iCard. So let's get started. Okay guys, so you can see I'm mixing different shades, right? And you want to do this before you start actually laying paint down on your canvas. And I'm starting from dark to light. I would recommend that you lay down all of your dark shades in the creases of the eyelids, underneath the eyelids, the pupil of the eye. And for that, you know, I use, it looks black, but it really isn't. I use a little bit of burnt umber, burnt sienna, magenta, and a little bit of Payne's gray for those dark values. And I use straight out of the tube black or Payne's gray for the pupil. Now, because this is oil paint, you want to be really careful when you are laying your paint down. You want to lay them side by side next to each other, you guys, because oil paint can become muddy very, very quick. And if you start to mix them together while they're actually on the canvas, it will become a mess. So if you lay all of these different shades together, at the end, you'll get a beautiful result. It's like, voila, like, oh my God, like Frankenstein. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's talk a little bit about the whites of the eyes, you guys. The whites of the eyes, oh my God, is not actually white, right? It's all different shades of grays and whites and pink and yellow and stuff like that. So you want to utilize those different tones to give you your different shades on your eyeballs, yeah? As well as the highlight, I use Payne's gray and a little bit of white, and that's what I use for the highlight, which will give it a little bit of a bluish, whitish tone. You know what I'm saying? Give it a luminescent, yeah? Also, what I was using to thin down my paint was oderless mineral spirits as well as my Galkd Medium. Galkd will speed up the drying time. It should be able to dry within a 24-hour period. But with the oderless mineral spirits, you want to take it easy with that and not use too much, because if you thin it down too much, it's going to be very, very thin. And since I'm working alla prima, right? Alla prima, right? A fancy word. Since I'm using alla prima, which means that I'm going wet into wet. I'm working all at one time. You know, I definitely didn't want to get crazy with all of the oderless mineral spirits. I used just a lot of Galkd. So here we are, you guys, and we are towards the end. We are done. If you made it this far, you're an absolute superstar. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial, because I love you guys and I really enjoyed you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. And if you love this sort of content, make sure you visit me on Patreon for exclusivity, especially if you want to support my channel. I would really appreciate it. I'm just adding in different tones. You can get really fresh and really crazy with it if you add different reds, right? I love you guys so much. Be happy, stay creative, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.